Hello, this is Matt Bergman, and you are listening to the Punk Rock Libertarians podcast, episode 54. I'm here tonight with Alexis Schlegel.
What's up, Matt?
Hey, dude.
What's going on?
Not much here, man. Just living the dream.
Yeah, so I ran into road pirates on the way over to your place today.
Okay, so what's the story with that?
Well, I decided to go a different way for those familiar with Baltimore. Instead of going 95 and to 695, I just took the Beltway from my house. So kind of went a different way. And so it's like right by the port of Baltimore. So you have like, they're called like Maryland Transportation Police, but basically what they are, they're like Port Authority Police because it's right by the port of Baltimore. So you got like a lot of trucks, a lot of cars during the week. You know, it's really busy during the week. And so they have these transportation cops, more or less. But on the weekends, a lot of times they engage in revenue-generating operations. So right at the light, it was a flashing red light on the weekend. So it was a stop sign. I'm making a left, and there's a cop, like two cop cars kind of sneaky behind like the big sign to one of the entrances of the port. And it's like a 4-lane road, and you can go like, speed limit's 35, but on the weekends there's no traffic, so a lot of times they try to catch speeders on the weekend. And so this one cop's just like sitting in the middle of the street with a radar gun, and then the other cop, so he literally walks out in the street as a car is approaching from the opposite direction, and just like flags the car down and like, you know, has him like signals to pull over, and then the other cop sitting there turns his lights on. So they weren't even like pulling people over. They were just going out in the middle of the street with the radar gun. The one cop with the radar gun, and then once they verified, yeah, that guy's speeding like a half a mile down the road towards us, we're just gonna like flag him over. Like fucking ridiculous. No traffic, nothing. You know, just gonna probably collect probably just $100 some.
Yeah,
probably
fishing for revenue.
Right,
you know?
right.
Yeah.
There's no fucking traffic. There's nothing. You know, but then you know, I travel that same road every day to work. On my way to work Monday through Friday, when there's like 18-wheeler container trucks and a lot of traffic and people swerving in and out of trucks, you know, that's when maybe you could see cops out. But no, they're out on a Sunday when there's no fucking traffic. The port's not even open, you know, and there they are just generating revenue for our safety, man.
Opportunist.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. But anyways, so yeah, that was on my way over today. And I was having a nice little Sunday until I saw that. So I was having a nice little Sunday, and then, you know, see the road pirates out there.
I actually did get banned from Facebook this week for the first time ever.
Tell us about that, Matt. How was that?
So I guess for about
grounded.
Yeah. So I guess
Go to your room, no allowance for 1 week.
So I guess for about a year now, I've been a editor on the Police to Police page on Facebook,
or like an admin.
Yeah,
like you're one of
exactly. You know, yeah. I mean, there's probably, I don't know. I haven't looked at the list of admins on there and counted, but I would guess that there's probably like 15 admins on that page. You know,
yeah.
And there's like over 650,000 people on that page or something, and so that page kind of. I don't know. I mean, I think highly of Police to Police. It's mostly it was founded by the guys who run Free Thought Project, basically.
Okay, it's like a spinoff, I guess.
Well, it's basically like their
specific.
It's basically their cop block page, you know,
right.
And which I would say, you know, I've always been a pretty big supporter of cop block, but I don't know. I just think like Free Thought Project puts out better content.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like they've really got their game together, and I don't know. At any rate, like, you know, I'm friends with a lot of the admins on that page, and I've known ever since that I've got into it that eventually from being an editor on that page, I'm going to get a Facebook ban. Yeah. You know, I actually, I'm going to get many of them.
Right.
But, so basically, actually, when you and Status Ned were over here on Friday night, and we were watching the second Stossel Libertarian debate, and like in the middle of the debate, like I got on Facebook and I had to like log back in, and it said like your page has been reported for your post, and it shows a picture of me posting something that I didn't post.
Right.
And
you just happen to be an admin of a page that
exactly. So somebody else posted it, but instead it shows a picture of me posting it, and it says that I'm banned from Facebook for 24 hours for something that somebody else posted just because I was on this page, but it says that I posted it.
Right.
Which is like fucking insane. You
other
know that
admins like blocked
of
this page? Like,
well, yeah, Jason Bassler, who of the Free Thought Project, he actually he was hit with a 30-day ban.
30 days? What the fuck?
Yeah, because he's the only other person I know that was banned because of that post. But
because it hurt some people's feelings.
Well,
they were offended.
Actually, I read into it a little bit, and apparently what was shared was like some sort of police brutality video that apparently a lot of the major networks had shared too, the same video, you know. But it was shared on Police the Police and on Police the Police and Cop Block both. A lot of those police accountability pages, you get cops liking those pages and going on those pages trolling.
Right.
So you either get cops or you get people that are just like the relatives or whose relatives are cops, or just copologists,
yeah. Bootlickers that are just
exactly,
like just go on there to troll and stir up shit.
And that's part of the bullshit of Facebook too, because it's like
it's oh god, it's so childish.
Yeah, like I don't know, children. I don't know if like somebody on Facebook is going after like those police accountability pages or libertarian pages, but I know a lot of people who have been banned who run those pages. Yeah. And or it might just be their bad like algorithm. Like it's basically anybody can report you for anything.
Yeah,
and it's just bullshit. Yeah,
well, just like this ties into the next topic, but yeah, just like how you said, like there's trolls. My buddy Vinny, who I was in the Air Force with, he got out a couple years ago, and he's never been happier. Just like myself, but he lives in Virginia, and like. He posts a lot. He was basically got, like you said, like trolls, like that there's cops trolling. Well, like, so he just posted, like, found this in my other inbox years after the message. He's a Trump supporter, typical. So basically he was on a page, probably like, I don't know, probably Copbach or Police the Police, and he commented on an article. And so this guy who's dressed in uniform, I guess, like, he took a screenshot of it, sent him a message via Facebook. He's like, "You're a fag, little fucking bitch. I hope to see you one day and beat the living shit out of you. And I'll laugh as I stomp your face in. Keep a lookout over your shoulder, motherfucker." And this guy's a cop. You know what I mean? He's on Facebook in uniform as his profile picture, like basically threatening my friend Vinny. So he took a screenshot of it.
Of course, yeah.
He took a screenshot of it. Like, really? Like, I'm literally... Like, how fucking dumb are you? You're a fucking cop, and your profile picture is you in uniform. Like, you're... You know what I mean? Like, making threats. Like, threats. Now, granted, I don't... Like, my friend Vinny's like, dude, I don't even know what I said, but this guy's coming out with, like, threats of violence, like, in uniform on fucking Facebook, So then... I guess like a couple years later, because this happened like 2 years ago, he just happened to was like, let me check this dude out on Facebook, like this piece of shit cop who's like threatening him. It turns out he's a Trump supporter. Like he's got this huge like cover picture, "Make America Great Again." So I don't know. My friend was basically, but yeah. So I don't know. I just sarcastically like hit up my friend Vinny. He's like, "Have you looking over your shoulder, motherfucker, for the past 3 years, looking out for this guy?"
Like, is that guy still a cop?
I don't know. Yeah, because his profile picture's still the same. He just changes. Okay. Like he's like, yeah. So it's like, yeah, what a douche. So,
yeah. So like when I found out I was going to get this, when I found out I was hit with this 24-hour ban, I'm like, oh shit, because like I'm editor of probably like I have like 35 Facebook pages, and and I've got a. And that's my page is like my access to all those pages. And when you're banned, you can't post on any of your pages.
Right.
So
just like completely cuts you off.
Which, I knew this was going to happen eventually, being an editor on Police the Police, just because of all the fuckers that troll that page. Yeah. So, immediately I made an alternate Facebook page, so where I can, get on Facebook and still do my social media work. Because I think it's inevitable that eventually I'm going to get hit with a 30-day ban.
You should have a backup plan to your backup plan.
Well, yeah.
You should probably have like a third You should probably have a contingency plan for like.
Well, actually, yeah, I was talking to Jason Bassler, and I was like, Jason, have you ever been banned by like? Have both of your accounts ever been banned at the same time? He's like, yeah, I have a third page. He's like,
right.
Yeah.
Seriously. You just gotta like fake this shit up. Like the inevitable is gonna happen because you're gonna have all these like a bunch of bitches on Facebook like crying like that. It's just pathetic. Like it's thought, it's speech. It's it's a social media and people getting butthurt over. Like it really like if
dude, I do honestly think though that Facebook does pick on certain pages. Because like,
for sure, definitely.
Well, I mean, I can tell you with like PRL, there was a point, I guess it was probably a year or two ago, where we were doing great. We were getting like 500 to 1,000 new likes per day, and then it's basically like they cut our reach like they hit it like a switch, And other pages I noticed like we're able to keep going, but it was just like something was done to our page.
Yeah, their algorithm and all their settings have basically created like. I know for a fact, like you just look at the amount of friends and then the amount of like, you post things here and there and it's like, people aren't even being exposed to it. You can basically be in this little bubble in Facebook, Yeah. And they're definitely cutting off like communication or certain posts or definitely picking and choosing a lot more over the past couple of years. It's getting worse. So
yeah, totally, man. I definitely think it used to be like a really great thing, and I think Facebook still is great.
Yeah, but it's in comparison to becoming irrelevant.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it is.
I don't know if it'll be completely irrelevant, but it's definitely shifting.
It's honestly like right now, I still think it's like the best thing that we have to share information. I mean, there's other things too, like Twitter and such.
Yeah.
But I still think Facebook's the best. But I think the shittier Facebook gets, the more opportunity, there'll obviously be for the market to, compete and put out something better.
Yeah, hopefully.
So I was hoping that would happen with Minds.com. Apparently Minds is still persevering, from... I
really haven't checked that out. I know you talked about it a while back.
Yeah, I was talking about it a lot. I was trying to get more people to join, and I noticed like I probably was able to get about 100 people to join.
Really?
So, but... it seems to be growing a little more, but it does seem to be moving kind of slow. I mean, you're not going to turn into Facebook success overnight, but you
gotta start out like Friendster.
Well, yeah, I think the shittier Facebook gets, the more people will look for an alternative, and I think the more alternatives the market will present.
Definitely, man.
Yeah, so I had to make an alternative Facebook page, so now. I've got that going. I'm Lysander Hess.
That was I was like, who the fuck's this? That's a cool name. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Matt. He was banned.
Yeah.
Like when I got home and I was like, it's a pretty cool name.
Yeah,
I was like, who the fuck's this guy? And I was like, oh, that's Matt because he's banned. Yeah, he has to go to his room for 24 hours. He's banned. No allowance. He's grounded. Go to your room.
Yeah, it's a combination of Lysander Spooner and Carl Hess, who are two of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, that's pretty rad.
So
you posted an article about the election being the best election.
Yeah, it was something like this election is fucking awesome. It's so bad that it's the best.
Yeah, Yeah, just this week, you had Hillary Clinton that couldn't figure out her pass to get through the subway in New York City, and she's riding on the subway, and ABC News is filming this, and they asked her, whoever it was from ABC News asked, Madam Secretary, when was the last time you rode a subway? She was like, about a year and a half ago. Let's get the fuck out of here. Really? And then there's that meme of her pouring a beer and it's got all this head. Really? This is what it's come to? This? It's her trying to fit in with oh, I'm just doing normal things. What the fuck? Nobody's falling for this shit anymore. And then you got Trump and Cruz getting into the whole Twitter war over their wives and comments, and it's
yeah.
Wow.
I often wonder, does Donald Trump actually run his own Twitter, or does he just does he just have an assistant do it?
Right.
Does he just tell them what to tweet? How does that work, dude?
Yeah, really, he's really of all the things he, I don't know, man, it's just fucking ridiculous, but anyways, but
I thought I heard somewhere that Donald Trump had never sent an email. Like he just gets other people to do it, which I don't know. That could have been true, could have been false. I didn't take too much time to read into it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it seems pretty ridiculous if that's the case.
But this whole election cycle is just ridiculous. But yeah.
Yeah, so, but I mean, it's like, never before, at least, can I remember in my lifetime, have you had like the two front runners, being Trump and Hillary, just hated by so many people, you know? It's, I mean, both of them are just like fucking hated. They're horrible, And I think less people than usual are going to be able to, hold their nose and choose out of the two. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are just going to say, either not go out to vote, or hopefully, they'll go out and, vote for a third party and protest. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking 2016 could be the libertarian moment, or the greatest libertarian moment as to date, because I think whoever gets a libertarian nomination is going to have a tremendous opportunity to win over disenfranchised voters.
Yeah.
And hopefully they can, spread a message while doing that that'll resonate in people's heads and hopefully gain some lifetime libertarians.
Definitely, because I just had a conversation with one of my coworkers, and he's pretty. We agree on a lot. We can have conversations, but he's still kind of stuck in he was still for the longest time thinking if we just elect constitutional Republicans, things will change, and if we just elect Tea Party.
Except for when's the last time we had a constitutional Republican?
Right, and he actually believes we got to vote. He just about a month or two ago, maybe about 2 months ago, he was just like, well, whoever the Republican nominee is, we got to vote for them because you can't vote Libertarian because that's just throwing away your vote away, and you'll have Hillary in the White House for 8 years. And I'm like, how's that any worse than Trump? How's that? And I'm trying to explain to him, dude, just vote Libertarian. Why these two parties are horrible.
The only way to throw your vote away is to vote for somebody who you don't believe.
Yeah. So just yesterday at work, I was working with him, and I just showed him that video that I sent to you a couple days ago, where it was that Ben Swan Truth in Media. Where
I didn't watch that.
Oh yeah. Well,
sorry.
Anyways, no, it's all right. Well, basically, it was just a whole video of how they fucked over Ron Paul at the 2012 Republican convention. How they basically just changed the rules right beforehand, and they're already talking about doing that again this time around. So it doesn't matter. They pick and choose who, no matter what, and it's going to happen in the Democrat side. They're going to fuck over Bernie. So there's going to be so many status Neds that are going to be
exactly.
They're going to their Bernie boner is just going to be at the Democratic convention. They're going to be so upset. They're like, oh my God, what? Hillary's the nominee? They're going to be all fired up. And they're going to steal it from Trump. They're going to pull some fucking convention wizardry and theater and whatever. And you're going to have so many disenfranchised on both sides that are basically be come to the final fucking realization that this whole thing's fucking rigged.
Hopefully.
It's all a charade.
Hopefully.
It's a big fucking game. And these candidates are awful. And I'm done. And basically, my coworker there, they said, Alex, I'm just going to vote Libertarian. I don't care who the nominee is. I don't think it's going to make a difference. But that's what I'm fucking doing. And I'm like, good. I was like, more people need to come to that realization.
Just tell him it's a big fuck you to the establishment,
because he's done. He's had it. He's thinking that anything's going to come about voting for the lesser of two evils in either party, So that's why, tying into just watching the Libertarian debate last Friday and then just this past Friday, why I think it's so important that whoever the nominee is able to convey bringing in as many people into the party.
Exactly.
And that's kind of that ties into what we were talking about. So what did you take away from the debate?
Well, I mean, even before we go to the Libertarian debate, I'd like to stay back on the major party election news.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
As the DNC is robbing Bernie, the Republicans are also, they changed their rules in the last minute in 2012 to exclude Ron Paul.
Exactly.
Now, this time, it's funny because apparently they can only change their rules the day of the
they
convention.
Have a rules committee before.
Yeah, like they
Or
can only do it the day of the convention or whatever. So it's basically at the last convention, it's basically Ron Paul had enough delegates to where they should have called up a vote,
from the floor.
And of course,
But they changed it from 5 to 8 at the rules committee, last minute.
And you're no newcomer to this stuff, You heard the rumors the same as I did that Ron Paul was going to have a bunch of extra delegates switch to him at the debate and possibly take the GOP election.
Right,
you remember that rumor going around at the time?
Well, no, that was a whole strategy.
Yeah,
that was a whole strategy
of
basically getting as many unbound delegates at the state conventions, because you had smart, and that's the thing, you had, let's face it, you had people within the Ron Paul grassroots and in on the campaign and in official capacity that were like, look, let's outsmart these fucking Republicans at their own game, and we're gonna try we're gonna get as many unbound delegates and go to the convention in force, because all we need is 5 or more states, the delegates from 5 or more, and then they changed the rules last minute. That's what they did.
Yep. So and now they're gonna have to change the rules back. Okay.
Right.
Because now that Trump is the front runner, they want somebody to have the power to do that. They want to run their guy against him.
Exactly. Now they want if you won one state, Governor Kasich, you're the governor of Ohio. You won the state of Ohio. And then it's going to be such a shit show. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing.
Dude, I think I read the other week that Kasich had a hand in trying to get libertarians off the ballot in Ohio.
He did.
Yeah. It's funny because, I was talking to Brian Combs the other day, and he surprised me because Brian Combs, he's fucking awesome. He's he was actually the first person that I made an admin on Punk Rock Libertarians. He used to run Voluntarious Punk, the Facebook page. I don't know if you remember that, but it was kind of like when I started Punk Rock Libertarians, I was more of libertarian, minarchist all the time, constitutionalist.
Yeah.
And it's basically that's how I came about libertarianism.
Yeah.
And then after I was doing Punk Rock Libertarians for a while, honestly, a lot of people on the page really educated me on people like Lysander Spooner. Brian Combs told me about Carl Hess, and I started reading into more libertarian philosophers, because it's really the Libertarian Party's just since 1971, but the Libertarian philosophy, goes back, hundreds of years.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but I'm surprised to say that Brian Combs, apparently he's talking about voting for Kasich in the primary because he's good on a couple issues. I like him in this way and that way, and it's just I don't know, man. I would since I still am technically a Republican because I switched to vote for Ron Paul in 2012.
Yeah.
I would entertain the idea of going in and just voting for Rand Paul in the primary since he's still going to be on the ballot, and it'll be a clear message of dissent for the GOP. To vote for Rand Paul in the primary.
I could, yeah. I'm technically still a registered Republican. I got the thing in the mail.
Yeah.
I'm should I change last minute? I'm why does it matter? I'm not going to participate in their bullshit anyways. And I like to get all the mail. They send me all the mail. Vote for this horrible candidate and send us money. And usually I just send it back on their dime. Because and usually put don't ever send this shit again, or I just send stuff back to them just a big fuck you, you're a horrible status.
I don't know at this point.
I like to troll them back. I'm registered Republican, but I don't even want your shit. I'm gonna troll you back. I'm gonna send it back.
Well, I threw it at Brian Combs. I was like, Brian, why don't you just vote for Rand? He was like, well, Rand dropping out. I'm not gonna waste my time voting for Rand. And I don't know, man. If you want to send a message to the GOP. I think Rand Paul's a better message than John Kasich.
Dude, honestly, that might be a good. I don't know. I hate the Republican Party, dude.
Oh,
I hate them. Fuck them.
No shit, I do too. I hate them as much as I hate the Democrats.
Idea, that's a good strategy. Just to, I don't know, as long
as long as you're registered that way and you can do it, why not?
Yeah, if it brings an end to the Republican Party quicker, that's great.
Well, I don't know if it'll really bring an end. It'll send a message to them this is what I want. The more Republicans do that, the more libertarian Republicans or libertarian leaning Republicans or constitutional Republicans, that do that just write in Rand Paul, even though he's dropped out, even though he's not going to win. It just basically tells the GOP look, I'll vote for you guys if you give me somebody good.
Yeah,
and it's. with Rand too, it's not even like he's the greatest, but
no.
But it's one thing I got to say is, you know, at least with Rand in the debate, you know, you had a lot of conversations like about, like say legalizing marijuana,
No, definitely,
or ending the prison industrial complex. You know, you had a point of view that, you know, after Rand dropped out, you just didn't have there.
No,
like
just
Rand
devoid
was
of anything.
Rand was at least like initiating a conversation there that I feel like needs to be had.
Yeah.
And without him in those debates, you know, they just weren't worth watching at all.
Not at all.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
I could barely stomach watching it with Rand in it.
Yeah.
You know, let alone like once he's gone, it's like,
yeah, once he's gone, I totally
I'm
just,
cool.
yeah,
Like,
I'm just not watching it at all.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's a shit show. You know?
exactly. I'll watch the lowlights on like Reason. I'll watch like the Reason clip of like the lowlights.
The 30 seconds of the Republican Democrat debate.
Like,
yeah, totally.
You know, but yeah. So speaking of debates, what'd you think, man? Past 2 Fridays.
Yeah, man. So you know, the first debate, you know, we covered last week, and I still want to like reiterate. There was a couple points where I disagreed with Gary Johnson. I disagree with him on the cake baking. You know,
Yeah.
I think if you don't want to bake somebody a cake, you know, you shouldn't have to. You know,
Yeah.
and it's Austin Peterson threw it back in his face and was like, "Well, should a Jewish person be forced to bake a Nazi cake?"
Yeah.
You know, and as much as you know, I agree with Austin Peterson on that. I still think he's a douche. You know,
Right.
but I agree with him on that. You know, and I agree with Austin Peterson on marriage equality. You know, I think it's like the libertarian stance to you know, just take the government out of marriage altogether. Whereas, you know, but at the same time, you know, while I agree with Austin on that, and I'm more for like that pure libertarian response, you know, I also, you know, I value Gary's practical approach of just, you know, of just making it legal for people of the same sex to get married.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, you'd have to go back and, you know,
There's layers of bureaucracy.
yeah, you'd have to like go back and like cancel out like 1,000 different marriage laws, which, you know, is that really going to happen?
No, and not only that, like
I wish it would happen, but I just don't see it happening. So, you know, I think it's a more practical approach, and I understand why that's why Gary takes it. I understand the guy. So, it's, yeah, man. And then this week, I think was more of the same. I think, you know, I don't know. I mean, like I loved watching the whole debate. You know, I think it's much better than watching a Democrat or Republican debate. You know,
definitely. It was getting to like the core of the issues and talking about issues that aren't even brought up in, you know, that aren't even like brought up. You know, you
exactly.
Look at both the Republican Democrat debates. They're all like every 4 years it seems like they make up issues, you know, like it's like the hot button issues every 4 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're not getting to like fundamental flaws or real issues. You know, they always just like, you know, every 4 years it seems like they're just making shit up. You know, distractions like this is the major issue. No, it's not. Yeah, you know, to get people fired up, like get people like divided, like
yeah, dude, like, you know? Austin Peterson, like this time around, he just came off to me like it was like just some dumb bimbo running for Miss America, you know?
Oh yeah, dude.
And it's like his response is, I expected after every response for him to have like a little twinkle in his eye, you know?
Yeah.
It was just so fucking cheesy.
His closing statement was so it was cheesy, and like
I can't rag on his policy.
Points.
Yeah, I can't rag on his policy.
No, and he makes great points, and he has like but I just don't think he comes off genuine. Like he's just all like talking points.
I don't think he does. I think he's speaking to his audience. I think he knows who his audience are. You know, honestly, I really don't trust the guy as like a human being. Like, you know, even though I'm going to agree with his points and his stances, you know, well, wasn't it like a couple years ago? Wasn't it a couple years ago that he said, the more I hear Ron Paul speak, I think he hates America. Did you see that article?
That.
Yeah. It's basically, come on, dude. You're going to go after Ron Paul, you know, the coolest libertarian of our lifetime. And I think Austin even gave him props in the last debate, but I don't understand how any libertarian could say that about Ron Paul.
Yeah. Not only that, but just like his responses are so canned and like typical, where like if he would be the nominee, which I hope he's not, I don't see him bringing people in. Like I don't see him, like case in point, you know,
I don't know. I think he might bring in a few conservatives, but I don't see him. I don't see him bringing in as many people as say Gary Johnson.
Right, and that's what I'm getting at. Like, you know, case in point, like I love that in the debate where they were talking about like job creation, you know, but Gary Johnson hit home like, all right, well, when I was governor of New Mexico, like government doesn't create jobs. You have to just create the environment too, you know? And he was hitting on like Uber and like innovation and entrepreneurship. He's like, that's what should be, you know, promoted.
Yeah, he basically said that's the future.
Exactly. And then the same thing with like McAfee. Like he's speaking more like McAfee's speaking more philosophic, more entrepreneur, more open, more like I think both of them are more capable than bringing more people into the fold, where Austin Peterson just kind of preaches to the choir, you know? It's like, dude, we know this shit. Like, but the key is like this election cycle, there's gonna be a lot of disenfranchised voters that are gonna be open to the libertarian message, and you need to be able to like be able to convey these messages and bring more people in, you know, where I don't think he's capable. Like Austin Peterson is just the typical sayings and bumper sticker slogans and just like quoting the founding fathers, and you know, it's like, I don't know, it's not
sometimes
genuine.
It seems like, does he have an original thought of his own, you know? That's one thing.
It's just like rehashing stuff that we already know.
Oh, dude, and I gotta say, man, like I really do, I love John McAfee.
Yeah, like he's very philosophic. Like
I think he's cool as hell. I think he could probably have a movie about his life. You know,
definitely.
But at the same time, you know, I don't think I don't think out of the three that he's the best person to be the libertarian candidate. I think his past is, to say the least, questionable. You know, it's but at the same time, you know, if he gets chosen, you know, I'd vote for him.
Yeah.
It's whereas like with Austin, if he got chosen, I'm not so sure I would vote for him. Like I don't think I would vote libertarian at that point.
Yeah, there was some. And then just like he was going after Gary Johnson about like the gun question. Like that was like their stance on the Second Amendment, you know, gun control. And
I don't know. Would you vote for Austin Peterson?
Me?
I don't know. I've said that I wouldn't.
I could get passionate about it.
You know, at the same time, like if he does, I couldn't get passionate about it. At the same time, I feel like, you know, what the fuck does it matter anyway? I mean, he's not going to become president. It's still a vote. It's still a vote of dissent. Yeah. You know, I wouldn't like the decision, but I probably still would, just to kind of like, I just feel like voting libertarian gives a bigger fuck you than just not voting at all. You know, then you're just kind of like mistaken for apathetic.
Yeah, but then in 2008, I couldn't vote for Bob Barr. I just wrote in Ron Paul.
You know,
I was like, Bob Barr.
I'm embarrassed to say that in 2008 I did vote for Bob Barr.
Really?
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I was more voting libertarian than voting for Bob Barr.
Yeah, I guess I just wrote in Ron Paul.
And you know, I'm not a fan of Bob Barr at all. Yeah, like I said, I was more voting for the party than the man Bob Barr. I think Bob Barr was a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know, man. I think I like Austin Peterson more than I like Bob Barr.
Oh, not without doubt. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
But like, at the same time, you know, I don't know if
such a huge. I don't know what like.
Dude, I would not be surprised if in 4 years Austin Peterson tries to run as a Republican, or 8 years.
Because I remember, like, I went to the Maryland state convention back in like 2011. You know, as 2012 was coming around, and you know, because I think it may have been. It was in the springtime. So
you know, I honestly, dude, if I was still registered as a Republican and Austin Peterson ran, and you know, I could maybe see voting for him in that case, just to send a message to the Republican Party.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I just couldn't really get into it, just because I really just think he comes off as such a douche, even though a lot of times he's saying the right thing.
Yeah. It's just not genuine. It just doesn't seem genuine.
And you know, the thing, I'd say McAfee trumps both Johnson and Peterson when he's speaking, just like philosophically.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It just seems like he's a man who's like myself, who's done a fair amount of drugs, and you know, and while he's on those drugs, he's thinking about those those greater questions in life, and you know what I mean. And he's come to
fundamental,
and he's come to these these like prolific conclusions that you come to when you've just smoked a bowl. You know, it's
like I'm the owner of oneself. And, you know,
but I mean, he's well spoken.
Definitely.
I think he rocks in so many ways, dude. I wish, I was about to say I wish his past wasn't as dicey, but maybe that it's that past that made that made the man that we're seeing speak that we like so much. So I'd say McAfee would not be my first choice. I would happily support him if he does get picked.
Yeah, but yeah, so that was, I don't know, that was a few, the whole, when they were the issue on gun control that came up, like Austin Peterson went after Gary Johnson, which, he kind of opened himself up when he basically
he said I would be open to a conversation of taking guns away from mentally ill people.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I don't know, I think he by phrasing that statement like he did,
by phrasing it that way, and I think he kind of like maybe slightly misspoke. But he basically was just...
Hopefully he misspoke, because dude, when it comes to gun control, like, I look at it like this, like, if a criminal's going to want to get a gun, they're going to get a gun, out of the back of somebody's car, and that person's not going to give them a background check, So, with all these laws, you're just making it harder for law-abiding citizens.
Yeah.
And, it comes a point where, the government makes so many hoops for somebody to jump through to get a gun. People are just going to say, fuck it, and start buying them on the black market.
Yeah.
And then if somebody gets caught with one of these black market guns, should they go to prison if that's their only crime, just owning a gun?
Yeah.
If they weren't using it in a crime, if they weren't doing it, if they weren't robbing a store with it, or robbing anybody, or
right.
Attempting to murder somebody, should they get a mandatory minimum?
And that's the Gary Johnson being very pragmatic. He basically was just saying, like, look, yeah, we all don't want, like, someone mentally, deficient or someone mentally unstable to have a firearm. But guess what? Like, there's no way of preventing that without infringing on someone's liberty, and that's kind of what he was getting at.
Well, I don't think there's any way of preventing that either, because dude,
there's no way of legislating that. I think that's what Gary Johnson was
I don't think
getting
the dude in Baltimore City selling guns out of the trunk of his car is doing mental health evaluations.
Right.
Call me crazy.
Exactly. Right. So
and then I think Austin Peterson did a good job throwing it back at him.
But he kind of was like, I don't know. He's just kind of...
Yeah, I mean, he was opportunistic, but I mean, it's,
But he did open himself up for it, though.
Yeah, and Gary is the front runner, and you've got to hit him any way that you can.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's funny because I find myself playing devil's advocate defending Austin Peterson when, like, I feel like I hate him. I hate the guy more than anybody, But I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, McAfee had a good point on that, too. What was his response in regards to, like, he basically was just like, yeah, if anybody questions my stance on the Second Amendment, clearly hasn't seen any pictures of me.
Yeah, because like every other picture of John McAfee like available is like him holding a firearm,
right?
Shirtless.
Yeah. So it was a good debate, but I was just glad to see those ideas getting out there. It's just a matter of like, who's the best out of the three to basically bring more people into the fold, where we're not like just constantly preaching to the choir, where more people are like learning about these ideas and principles. So speaking of that, like, I guess maybe kind of...
Well, okay, and then
what else do you have, man?
Yeah, let's go to like Daryl W. Perry. He just announced this week, which I got to say, I took the quiz on iSideWit.com, and apparently, I believe I agreed it was like 98 or 97% with Daryl W. Perry.
That was funny. He like tweeted in the debate. I was just like, why not invite all of them? And like Stoss was like, oh, who is this guy? He was like, oh man, like,
I was just informed. Yeah,
I was just informed. Yeah. He's like, he didn't make the top three, so.
Yeah, that was pretty hysterical.
Yeah.
So, but so Daryl W. Perry just chose his running mate, and the running mate that he has chosen is Will Coley. Will Coley is a Muslim man, and it's kind of funny because you look at Will Coley and he looks more like he's Amish than Muslim. You know, he's got a long beard.
I don't think I met him. Maybe I did at like Porkfest.
Yeah, I've smoked many a bowl with him at Porkfest. He's got a big Merlin pipe, and he's got a long beard, and he's usually rocking like a trucker hat and some overalls. And
Nice.
but yeah, he's cool, man. It's like the last couple years at Pork Fest, he'll just like randomly walk up to me. I'll be sitting down at like a picnic table at Tim Davis's booth. And Will Coley will just walk up with his Merlin pipe and, hey man, want to smoke a bowl? And he's just a chill dude. I've always enjoyed talking with the guy. And actually, last week after the Punk Rock Libertarians podcast, he had me on his radio show on LRN FM, and so I was on there for a couple hours with him. Then I've always thought he was a cool dude, and so it's just been announced that Daryl Perry chose Will Coley. So I think that rocks, and I think that's pretty cool that a libertarian has chosen. I believe Will Coley is the first Muslim to be chosen to be a vice presidential candidate. If it's kind of a long shot that, of course, that Daryl Perry's going to win or whatever. But I think it's cool that Daryl Perry did that, and of course, not just because Will Coley's Muslim, which that is cool, but Will Coley's an awesome dude in general.
Yeah.
And he's also as far as I know, he's like I'd say he's because there's the group Muslims for Liberty, and Will Coley's written a number of articles for them.
Okay.
And so I mean, you can check him out over there. He's just a all around awesome dude. So I thought that this deserves some press. And apparently, I saw earlier that Chris Cantwell has been ragging on this decision.
Oh, really? Why's that?
Yeah, on his podcast Radical Agenda, he was like he was just talking about Daryl Perry's choice and like how stupid it was or whatever. And I don't know. It's basically Chris Cantwell, just any opportunity he has to just rag on anybody, it just seems like he just does it,
Yeah, he's an opportunist.
It's really a shame, because I think Cantwell's gifted in a lot of ways. I think he's pretty bright.
He just chooses to be a dick.
Yeah, I know, man. It's
like,
yeah.
If you could like focus all your like energies and your time and your talent to doing some things positive for the liberty movement, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean,
if you could just stop being a dick.
Yeah, honestly, I think you could go long ways, man. If you would stop being a dick.
I mean, don't get me wrong. That interview with Austin Peterson was great. I mean, that was pretty funny.
Well, yeah, out of the two, I'll take Chris Cantwell over Austin Peterson. But
Austin, wait, okay. Throw in a third person in the mix.
Like who?
I don't know. Like, all right. Who's like someone else in the? I don't know. That's tough. Those are like the two that stand out. That are like, I can't think of a third.
Yeah, I think they are for me like the two most hated people in the liberty movement for myself. And it's funny because I've got good friends who like Austin Peterson. And I've got good friends who like Chris Cantwell.
Yeah.
So and I'll understand.
It's like to each your own.
Yeah, I know some people who I think are pretty awesome, decent people, and for some reason that they like these people, I don't really get it, but whatever.
It's like I don't know. It's kind of like personal taste. You got those friends that just listen to like awful music, and you're just like, why the fuck do you listen to that? Like what? Like what the hell? But you're not gonna just not be friends with.
Like Deftones?
What? Dude, their new album's awesome.
Dude, I'm just fucking with you because I saw you posted a Deftones song the other day. I've never cared for that band. But
Why? Why?
I don't know. I just thought that every song that I've ever heard, I just thought was really boring.
What? Okay. That's fine. I mean, whatever. You're entitled to your opinion.
I don't know, dude.
I'm sure there's some bands you like that I'm like, what the fuck, man?
I'm sure there is, dude. I'm sure there is, man.
Why do you like these? So I don't know. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion.
Maybe I would have to like listen to an album sometime. It's like, is there any Deftones album that's good, like all the way through from the start to the finish?
I don't know, man. I was listening to their new album the past like all day today and yesterday when I was doing some work around the house, and it was like it grows on you. But
see, like when it comes to music, like honestly, like I'm like an encyclopedia, and probably if I had to guess, I would say 80 to 85% of like the thousands of albums that I own are punk rock.
Yeah.
And then, I like some old country, I like some hip hop, mostly underground hip hop.
Yeah.
And I like a handful of metal bands, You know, I like a handful of hardcore bands. And when I'm talking hardcore, it's like, you know, people call Deftones hardcore. When I talk about hardcore, I talk about like Minor Threat, you know.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking Minor Threat, Bad Brains, you know. I'm talking about like punk hardcore, you know.
Yeah, like Gorilla Biscuits.
Yeah, stuff like that.
I don't know, like that's what I mean. Like hardcore, you're like, yeah, I'm into hardcore bands. People are like, what? No, I'm thinking more along lines like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's sometimes genres are kind of wide open.
Yeah.
So, and then some kind of like crisscross genre, so they're hard to just kind of like, you know.
Yeah, and I'm open to somebody like Deftones because like I'm into
like
I'm into mostly
like,
underground music, you know.
Yeah.
Like because I just think underground music, no matter what genre it is, it's generally better because you know people aren't writing for the radio. They're not just trying to make like 2 good songs to sell an album and the rest is filler.
It's just crap. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know I'll respect any underground music. You know I might not always like it, but I mean generally I'm just more into it.
Yeah. Oh man, I was listening to some. Yeah, speaking of country music, Merle Haggard, man. Were you throwing on some Merle Haggard records past couple of days?
I haven't thrown on any records, but you know, honestly, I never got too into Merle Haggard.
Really? No.
Yeah.
Great stories.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with his stuff, and I love Johnny Cash. I love Hank Williams Sr.
Do you like Senior? I don't like Junior. I didn't like Junior.
Yeah, Junior never got into. I love Senior.
Third?
I've never gotten into any of his albums, but
oh man, I saw him in DC. It was awesome. It was a great show.
I think he's cool. I've seen him on a number of like documentaries and interviews.
He's definitely like a throwback to old
the whole time
music.
The whole time I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, wow, this guy's like the spitting image of his grandfather.
Oh yeah, definitely. He sounds like him too.
Yeah, totally. And you know, I like his whole. I like his whole shtick, you know. It's basically like he does the old country thing, but he also blends it in with some like punk rock and some metal.
Yeah,
you know, it's pretty cool. But I don't know. I've yet to get into an album. Okay. I feel like I kind of need to like find out what the best one is and pick it up.
I got you, man.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, but yeah, music. So. Going back to yeah, it's kind of brought up like with the libertarian debate, and also this kind of ties into like this how this election cycle is going down, and kind of was like reflecting, just thinking about the state of the liberty movement, you know, just kind of like maybe looking back, like Matt, like how you got involved and got into it, and then I'm kind of thinking back like how I've kind of like how I was introduced to it and how I've kind of like evolved, and I'm thinking like what next, you know, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And it'd be cool, like I don't know, just like what do you think the future is? What do you think's going on? Like, what do you think there's things we could do to advance like the message? Like that's kind of where I'm at. Like, cause I don't know, like it'll be interesting to see what happens after this election. But once it's over, like then what? You know?
Once it's over, then what? Honestly, I think the best time to talk about politics, I think, is every 4 years, because it's like a bunch of people that aren't usually political start thinking about things and listening, and maybe start to question things.
Yeah, I mean, you brought this up, you know, because I don't know, like I was completely like pretty much checked out. Like I was just like, I don't really give a fuck anymore, you know. But then definitely, like you said, it's like, nah, man, you know what? This is the best time to like post things on Facebook, and I've definitely posted a lot less on Facebook. I definitely get in far less conversations. I definitely get far less as fired up as I used to be, and like as passionate, and like really trying to talk to as many people as possible. I kind of like pick and choose a little bit more, but it's definitely like a good point that you brought up. You know, about a little over a year ago, like, no, man, this is the best time to talk about it. You know, people are thinking along these lines. This is a time to bring up conversations on the issues. So yeah, but I'm just thinking like,
yeah, I mean, honestly, I will be upset when all this is over with. You know, because I mean,
now what?
Because honestly, like I feel like it's. I mean, I've been running like PRL for like 6 years now, and it's like. I mean, I just see shit grow like so much every election season, and you know, spreading the message of liberty to more people, you know, and like I said, man, it's like it's every 4 years, you know, people listen to this stuff more, and they're That's really your best time to reach people. And it's one of the things that kind of drives me crazy about all these anarchists who are like, oh, I don't vote, blah, blah, blah. It's like, whatever, fuck you, dude. You got into this shit through Ron Paul during an election season, and now you don't vote, and you're going to stop recruiting people. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's like recruiting, because that sounds very like militaristic. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
Like recruit, we're going to recruit you into the cult. Like, it's just kind of like.
Well, I mean, okay. Okay,
no, I mean,
it's not a call, but it's a great time to whatever, dude. I'm trying to recruit people to have a freer world. Okay, because here's the thing, dude. Because there's nothing devious to what I'm looking to do. It's Republicans and Democrats both want to get into power and to tell you what to do, and they've got their better idea. They each argue over who has the better idea to tell you how to live.
I just want to leave you alone.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally. So I mean, I don't think there's anything devious to what I'm saying.
No, I'm fucking with you, man.
Yeah.
But
so it's just not the same.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going with this, because like I came into it in 2000. Well, I wouldn't say 2008. Like my dad ran for office twice as a libertarian candidate, county treasurer, county commissioner in Reading, Pennsylvania, Berks County. But anyway, so like I was introduced to it. Like when I was maybe 14, 15 years old. When I was 18, like I was able to, like I helped him to get like ballot access, like going to 4th of July parades or going to any like public event, like baseball games, just trying to get like any type where, any time when there was a lot of people gathered, we were just trying to get signatures just to get ballot access. And so like in an early, like, when I was a teenager, I was exposed to this, and I was exposed to like, how bullshit it is that it's so hard for a third party to, just to get on the ballot, just to be an option on the ballot. So, like,
what was the year your dad was running for office? What year was that?
I was 18, so this was like 1998.
Okay, cool.
So, or 98 or 99. Like, I was a senior in high school, but I was 18. So I was able to, like, basically volunteer just to, basically, because every state's different as far as ballot access. But like basically for a libertarian candidate, I don't know if it's changed since, but in the state of Pennsylvania, I think anybody running for office as a libertarian candidate had to get like something like 10,000 signatures.
Did you hit that vape too hard, Alex?
I think I did.
Okay, man. Cool.
So but basically, yeah, like you needed, I forget what.
Oh, hold the vape up because we don't want the oil to like spill out.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
So
it's gravity, dude.
So basically, Republican and Democrat candidates only needed like a couple hundred signatures just to get on the ballot. Maybe not even 100 signatures. Maybe 10 signatures. Whereas my dad needed to get like 5,000 signatures from registered voters. So basically, and I witnessed it early on. Like basically, when you go to these events and you get, hey, would you like to sign this petition? This is my dad. He's running for county commissioner. He's trying to gain ballot access by signing this as a registered voter. He'll be on the ballot. People are like, I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican. I'm not signing. I was like, you're not voting. This is basically just to have him on the ballot when you go in there as a possible choice. You know what I mean?
Like, just to give you a choice, sir.
Just to give you more of a choice, sir. Like,
I don't like choices.
I don't like choices. When I go to the grocery store, I want 2 choices of everything. I don't want, like fucking morons. Like, so when I was a teenager, I was exposed to just like the closed-mindedness and just like, just how hard an uphill battle it is. So throughout the years, like, I would kind of like, all right, philosophically, I believe in this, but I don't think anything's going to come about it. Or, yeah, I'm just going to vote libertarian. I'll talk to people. But then, Ron Paul came along and it just like reignited. And not only that, but I learned more about economics. I learned more about like, I just like learned so much more through Ron Paul and just met so many people through Ron Paul that, and then, through the years, it's just kind of like, some people have gone statist. Some people have just fallen off the map. Some people have just gone full anarchist and don't give a fuck. And I'm just kind of like, man, what's going to happen next? Like, what's going to go on? Like, where are we at? Like, just kind of being reflective over the past, I don't know, I'd say this weekend, but just overall, I've just kind of been like a little reflective on like, where are we going? Like, as a movement, like after this election, what can we do as individuals to maybe promote these principles? And I'm thinking also like more lines like this, like we can't just like talk to people, we maybe have to do like just action, like actions speak louder than words. And maybe we just need to live out these principles in our daily lives as examples.
Well, yeah. I was talking to a dude the other day that I've known for like a few years on Facebook. I think he used to be one of the editors from, I bet Ludwig von Mises can get more fans than John Maynard Keynes. Remember that page?
Yeah, that kind of fell off them. Yeah,
I think they're still around, but I'm not sure because who knows? Because you don't see shit in your Facebook feed. But I used to see them a lot.
Yeah.
But at any rate, he was telling me the other day, like we were talking about the libertarian debate, and he was like, I don't know, man. I'm thinking about not voting. He's like, I'm an agorist. I believe in counter economics, and it's like, I'm like, yes, I do too, but I can still take 20 minutes to go vote.
Right.
You know, and instead a clear message of dissent, it's like you can do both.
Yeah. I feel as though so many, like, that's what I mean. Like, we're just falling off the map and forgot, like, hey, at one point we were just like, hell yeah, like Ron Paul, like let's switch our votes, even though like probably none of us ever voted or we're libertarian or we don't believe in voting, but we're going to register once just to vote, just to send a clear message, you know what I mean? And whereas, I don't know, like, I just feel as though maybe it's that point where we need to use our time and talent and our energies in different ways to kind of just be that, like living out our lives and those principles.
I mean, see, I feel like you can always do different ways. I mean, and then you can also vote. It's only one thing that you could do. Like, I feel like a lot of people, like, they put all this effort into 2012 and it's like, oh, well, that didn't work, so I'm not going to vote anymore. It's like, I didn't think it was going to work in 2012,
Yeah.
It's like,
I wasn't delusional. I didn't think
exactly. I didn't think Ron Paul.
I pretty much knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen, but if he could go as far as possible,
it's there was like there might have been like a 5% of me at times that thought like, oh well, maybe if this happens and this happens and this happens, maybe Ron Paul could get picked to be president.
Or if there was like it went to a second vote at the convention, or there was some shit stirring up at the convention, and they said, you know what, Romney got the nomination, but Ron Paul, like, we agreed he's going to give a speech, like, just kind of. Like, I don't know, just something to keep the movement going, you know what I mean? Where it just ended so abruptly right then and there at that convention due to political theater, and it was just basically a coronation of, fraud. It just left a lot of people disheartened and like disenfranchised. And I don't know, like, I was just thinking back, like, now it's another election cycle, and after this, where we go? What are we gonna do? But I guess maybe we can address this after this election. But sometimes I feel as though we get caught up in the day-to-day, and all the events, and we don't really think about, like, where's this all going?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I live a lot in the day-to-day. I think, after the election, like I said, I'll still be talking about, I'll still be talking about all these things, So, but I just think during the election, it seems like a lot more people are prone to listen because they're actually getting into this stuff.
That's true.
Yeah.
Or you get a lot of people, like, never really cared, and now all of a sudden they do.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like, I try to talk to people a lot about economics. It's something that I don't know. It's just something that I'm really into. I've gotten very passionate about, and I want other people to be passionate about it. I saw somebody posted a meme on Facebook the other day, and it was like from like Occupy Democrats or something. And it was like there was like 7 points on this meme, and one of them was like raise minimum wage to $15 an hour. One was like end corporate welfare, which I totally agree with. And I agree with that point. The other one was like make unions more powerful. And the other one was like end right to work laws. And then it's like the last point was like bring manufacturing back home. And so I commented, I'm like, how exactly do you suggest we bring manufacturing back home? Because, it's like pretty much everything else on this list is going to make it less profitable or is going to pull, incentive out of starting a business.
And they were like all contradictions too.
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
Make unions more powerful, but end right to work.
Like,
wait, like what? How?
And the dude's photo who I commented on, he didn't even respond. It's like we've gotten arguments before, and I guess he didn't even want to go through with it, so he didn't even respond. But I mean, it's an honest question. How do you intend to punish businesses for earning that wicked profit, and then at the same time create more businesses? I mean, what you're talking about is making it harder to be in business.
Right.
But yet I mean, what the fuck, dude? It just seems to be insane. It's, people just don't think at all about economics.
Nah. It's definitely like, yeah. Anytime conversations like that present itself, like to break down economics on a basic level, I think we need to take like any and every opportunity to do so.
Well, yeah, dude, there's plenty of opportunities. You can talk about it all day,
Because like that's the thing. Like if you get all wonky with someone like about like the Federal Reserve and monetary policy and this and that, where it's like no, you got to break it down to like the lowest level. And maybe we're bringing this back to like the libertarian debate. But like I felt as though, like when Johnson's answer and McAfee's answer in the debate, it was more like entrepreneurial. Like this is kind of breaking things down to a fundamental level where. And someone who's not exposed to these ideas would understand it.
Word.
Yeah.
So I think that's about it for this week. So until next time, live free.
We can make the break the power, break the power. Statism's blood break is the blood that is shed. Drenching